And welcome to Age of New Beginnings, and I'm here with Joe Simmons, a wonderful friend, a visionary, and somebody who shares a lot of the same perspectives I do on life. And today he's going to talk about success and perceptions of success. And Joe, we were just talking a few minutes ago about how people get lost in different feelings, fears.
Yeah, well, I'll get right into it. Essentially, what inspired this conversation, his exploration, is our general predisposition to have these ideas about what it takes to be successful. I run into this conversation often, particularly working in a shelter environment, emergency shelter, where people are in transition, and a lot of times I hear things like they are they feel bad about what they've accomplished in their life, and they feel like they're not doing enough. The other day a guy says, I'm 27 years old and and here I am, like he's old or something. So, and, he has all
Maybe you're just experiencing
yeah,
life.
it's like, wow, really?
Yeah.
So so it inspired this conversation. I also saw a friend of mine that I know from high school posted something about how he lives in Florida, and he was listening to some folks or some friends of his who were from another country sharing or reflecting on how Americans buy this idea of success, which included something like you go to college, you get this job, you get married, you have children, you buy the house, all this stuff, like this sequence of things that determine in the United States stereotypically what is success. And he was just reflecting on that, and what he shared in his reflection was, you know what, folks, just enjoy life, go somewhere, travel, even if you don't have any money, just go, with whatever your means are at the moment, and just make it work, and just be in the moment, and try to just enjoy life, rather than be all caught up in the stereotypical idea of success. A bunch of little things like that went on that inspired. So thanks for having me and for having the conversation, the exploration.
Well, I think it's an important thing for people to kind of think about,
Yeah.
that success is just enjoying where you are in life, and realizing what it took to get you where you are, and start appreciating the little things. It's like right now we are sitting here, and there are these incredible big, thick bees. Now, anybody else would be terrified. And I was sitting here with Joe, and I'm like, okay, where's a beautiful spot to hang and talk? And we're on my deck in my house, and we're sitting amongst these bees that are like right up in our face.
They're like this big.
They're crazy. But we're just sitting here, and they're just playing all around us, and it's exquisite.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I had one flying, right, it's like this big, right? And it's like flying, wings going fast.
Like staring at
It looks like
you.
he's just like looking at me, like checking out the situation. I'm like, wow, here we are hanging with this bee. Now they're wood bees, you said?
The carpenter bees.
Carpenter bees.
Yeah. So
And
they're
they
not
just-
looking to hurt us.
Yeah, they just hang out.
Yeah.
You don't mess with them. They're just curious, hanging out, being, dancing.
They're observing us,
Yeah.
and just like in how in life that we should observe and appreciate life. You
Yeah.
know, I think success is knowing how to be happy no matter where you are.
Yeah, so
Right.
thank you for that. So, so the opportunity is to recognize that really we're subject to and inclined to follow the stereotype, when really the opportunity is to recognize that success is available in the moment, on the spot, in the quality of the engagements that we have with each other. It's essentially when we can be present to each other and giving the gift of listening and recognizing the beautiful and magnificent contribution that we are to each other on the spot, we're in an experience of success. It's like mission accomplished. And just what I want to introduce, and I'm just planting seeds here in an exploration about what is success, and that is when we recognize that we don't have to buy into or pursue the stereotypical physical manifestations of what success is.
to others.
To others.
You know, because it's finding what it is for yourself.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
I'm just trying to keep my thought.
Oh.
'Cause, I'm an ADD guy, you know, and I forget
Perfect.
easily. But yeah, and to recognize though, not to invalidate those things, because it is fun and it is nice, and the ideas or the stereotypical ideas of success serve a nice purpose, and that purpose is to have a structure for fulfillment, to have reasons to engage. Right? So depending on what we're pursuing, we will have certain types of engagements.
It's like the excitement of being together right now, being with the bees. It's finding the excitement in life. It's the success of enjoying the people that you're with. It's being present in the energy of really hearing what somebody's saying, connecting to that soul light.
Exactly. It's being success. I'll give you an example. One time when I was probably like 20 years old. I was between semesters in college, and I went out with this guy Bobby in a van selling decals at the hot spots going down the East Coast. We went to like Ocean City, Maryland, Ocean City, New Jersey. We were going to these places that had boardwalks so we could sell these decals to the t-shirt shops, right? So we just went, a bunch of a box van full of decals. So we just drove. So we started hitting the spots, and we would go out every night. We would go dancing and stuff, you know? And we drank a little bit and stuff. And I remember this one night we went out, and now we were sleeping in the van. Now the van was not comfortable. It was a box van, and it was all metal. So I'm laying in the back on the floor using a stack of decals as a pillow.
Aww.
It wasn't soft, but it put my head. No, it was good. I was fine.
Yeah, you're young.
Yeah, so I'm like sitting there, I'm laying there, and we were having so much fun. We were so free, and we were recognizing how we could create our reality. I mean, we were making money. We were just selling decals. We were making money out of thin air, basically, because we had all these stacks of decals that we were selling that we had printed already.
And you were just enjoying life.
We were just enjoying it. Had just gone out. We were dancing, and we were drinking a little bit, which was not crazy, but we were doing that. It was just fun, engaging, meeting new people. And I was laying there. It was just so rich, the fact that we were on the road, driving in unfamiliar places, you know, exploring, meeting new people, having fun, making money, the whole thing. I literally declared, there was one piece that I got to put in here that made this even more important.
Great.
Now, the guy that I was there with, I'm not going to tell you his last name, but this guy was drinking a lot. And, thanks. And he was driving. This guy was drinking and driving. So that had me think, wait a second, this might be my last night. You know, because we had to make a ferry. We had to get to a ferry.
Okay.
So, but immediately following that thought was that would be perfectly fine, because I had so much fun. I felt so fulfilled. I felt as though there was nothing else to accomplish.
Yeah.
I had done it all. I felt free. I felt abundant. I felt like I could create. I mean, it was a simple thing. We were in the box van selling decals.
But you had everything that you needed at that moment. You had a great friend to hang with.
Mm-hmm.
You were having a good time. You were laughing. You were going out. Mm-hmm. You're seeing new, beautiful places.
Yeah,
and enjoying people.
It was just so rich.
Yeah,
you know,
feeling very alive.
Feeling alive.
Yeah.
You know, it was rich. So the point is that's available anytime.
Always.
Like really anytime. You know, like when a person comes into our space, it doesn't have to be people. It could be like these bees that are hanging out here.
Incredible.
When a person comes into the space, we have the ability to choose to see the beauty and the magnificence of the energy that just came in. You know, like the deepness of the person's eyes and what their history is and their thought, what they might be thinking, and the gift of their listening, and because we all really are magnificent, whether or not we realize that or not. So being able to choose that we are all magnificent. For example, my noticing your magnificence here, and my noticing the bees' magnificence, I get to experience this joy.
Right.
Like when I first sat out here, and the bees were like, this bee was like right in front of me here. You can't see my hand; he was around this area over here.
But a normal feeling of bees being terrified.
Yeah.
Right?
At first, I was like, all right, I got this bee here, and they're not little; they're big, right? And I keep telling you, they're big.
Yeah.
You get used to it when you start to realize it. They're just hanging out, just like we are.
Right.
And when we tune in, when we, like in this case, in order for me to get comfortable with the bees, I had to get rid of my preconceived notions about being with bees.
So that preconceived notion about lack or that not being enough, and to enjoy is creating that success in our lives in that moment, that happiness,
I'm
right?
glad you brought that up.
Gee, thank you.
Yeah, because again, we're not talking about invalidating the stereotypical ideas of what is success. What we're talking about here is recognizing those things for the tool that they are to have us have more success and abundance. For example, if we can recognize applying the law of attraction,
Yes.
okay, which is whatever it is that we entertain,
Whatever we
expands.
energize, that's right.
Whatever we're thinking about most often,
Yes.
whatever we're thinking about, celebrating and being present to it is expanding like a snowball going downhill.
So if we're living in gratitude of all these beautiful, magical things in our lives,
Right.
we're going to bring in more of that.
Exactly, and the opportunity there is to recognize more and more spots of that joy. So if we could even like the bees that are hanging out with us here,
I'm flaming.
you know, like even noticing like the colors of a flower, you know, that where we notice the magnificence and the beauty of them by the differences between the colors. And every spot that we could find joy, happiness, magnificence, or something like wow to look at, that's an experience of abundance
It
that
is.
that builds upon coming from the perspective of the law of attraction, that snowball of abundance.
Living in that wow effect, looking for that wow, finding
Yeah.
and embracing it.
And that feeling of abundance and magnificence and celebration, right?
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're snowballing the abundance. Now, abundance can show up in any way depending on what our desire is. So, the universe doesn't really care how it shows up, how it brings us the experiences that we want. So it could bring it up with money, it could bring it up with fancy cars, it could bring it up with big houses. It could bring it up with bees hanging out with us. Whatever it is that causes that feeling of abundance and joy, the universe will bring. It will expand. It will grow the snowball of abundance and joy and all that kind of stuff. So, that's what's available in finding spots to access the experience of joy and success. In the moment.
In the moment.
In the moment, right there in the moment. Like I'm looking at this thing. I have to show you what this is.
Oh my God, it's gorgeous.
This thing here.
There's a piece of wood that is just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And just appreciating how unique and exquisite it is.
Yeah.
So there's just so much around us that we take for granted.
There's a lot going on in this thing. It's got all the different nooks and crannies and sand and leaves and there's like
The moss.
The moss is on
Yeah,
here.
the
It's
green, the color,
this is
the richness.
magnificence going on. So to be able to stop
Yeah.
and recognize those things that are available comparing the contrast, the moss and the bark and the sand and all that brings it all into our experience. We are expanding our ability to have more abundance.
By choosing what we focus on.
By choosing what we focus on.
So I hope you enjoyed connecting with us as we enjoyed connecting with you, and hope to inspire a new way of viewing things, and that you have the most magnificent day. And thank you, Joe, for your love, your input, and your beautiful perspective of life and success.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
So, I declare that right now we are all 100% successful
Yes.
and abundant in our meeting together, the viewers as well. Whoa, two of those bees just landed slammed down the table.
They're celebrating too.
They're celebrating too. They're like, yeah, that's right. So, that's right. We are 100% successful in our engagement here and gathering and being together and creating this exploration. So,
Yes.
thank you for that.
Well, thank you for joining us at Age of New Beginnings, and until next time, namaste.
Namaste.